What happened to Hayden Manis? The 4.5-year-old from Muncie vanished, but his disappearance wasn't discovered and reported to police until years later. 13 Investigates broke this disturbing story, and tonight investigative reporter Bob Siegel is in studio with me. He's got the latest on this investigation.
Scott, since we released our 13 News documentary about Hayden last summer, detectives have gotten more tips and leads. Still, no signs of the little boy, but there are signs criminal charges could be coming. This is Hayden before he disappeared in 2020. And this is a computer-generated photo of what Hayden might look like today. This week, he would have turned 11 years old. And yet, his family is in no mood to celebrate.
They're all bad days for me anymore.
Hayden's grandfather and great aunts met with me at this park where they used to bring Hayden to play.
We've been fishing over there at the gazebo.
We'd come out when it was a nice day out, climbed and had a good old time.
Those trips to the park ended when Hayden's father, Hayden Manis, stopped bringing the boy for visits. When the family kept asking to see Hayden, Dustin told them DCS took the boy away after determining Dustin was not Hayden's biological father. It wasn't until the fall of 2024 that these family members discovered that story was a lie. And by the time they contacted police, Hayden had vanished. The sheriff's department searched this Muncie home where Hayden lived with his dad and Dustin's girlfriend, Crystal Hall, but they did not find the missing boy. Then Hayden's father died of a drug overdose, and Crystal moved out of state. Sources close to the investigation told 13 News Crystal told investigators that Hayden was dead and that she disposed of his body in a gas station trash compactor. But last summer, when 13 Investigates tracked Crystal down in Nevada,
is not what I told police.
She denied disposing of Hayden's dead body. Can you share with us what you did tell police?
I have to go to work. I would like for you to stop this.
Is there a reason that you won't answer any additional questions?
Because I'm not obligated to, and I did work with them.
Months later, still no Hayden.
None of us think that he's alive anywhere. I lost that hope a long time ago.
Adding to their anguish, it's now been more than 8 months since Hayden's family has heard anything from investigators.
They told us that they were still continuing to work on it every day. Is it still getting looked at every day? What's happening?
Yes, it's being worked on. Hayden is on my mind every day.
Eric Hoffman is the prosecutor in Delaware County. He says detectives have made progress since Hayden's story was featured last summer in a 13 News documentary. Has there been new information and evidence over the last 12 months?
There has been. After the documentary aired, I cannot remember exactly how many people contacted the detectives, but there were individuals that did so, and they were interviewed, and we got some information from them.
And is it information that potentially could lead to any charges?
Potentially, yes.
I also asked the prosecutor about flooring that detectives took from inside this house. Did testing on that evidence prove to be valuable?
Yes, they've come back and provided helpful information.
But despite the test results, should the public look at this and come to the conclusion that at this point, the prosecutor's office doesn't feel there's sufficient information to file charges?
No, absolutely not. If I felt that, I would say that.
I've heard from sources inside the sheriff's department that they are now waiting on you to determine if any charges are going to be filed. What are we waiting for at this point?
There's a list of things I'd like to have in this case, evidence, witnesses, and so on, and some I have, some I don't. So it's getting around those issues in order to have enough evidence to file a criminal charge. I see no benefit to the case or to justice to rush things along.
But Hayden's family says they're confused because when they spoke to the prosecutor last August, he told them charges could be filed soon.
That's exactly what he said, pretty much, is he thought within a few weeks something would happen. he felt like it would be within the next, I can't remember,
I thought he said
6 to 8 weeks, something like that maybe. And it's been over 8 months.
I feel like the police, prosecutors and all that, it's kind of gotten forgotten.
I do understand the angst of Hayden's family, and I get the angst, but I just ask for patience.
Are you still looking for tips and information?
Absolutely. Yeah, on the front door of this office is a sign, has Hayden's picture on it and a number to call. We're still just plugging along.
Are we any closer to solving this mystery?
I think we're closer to having a decision on what, if anything, will be filed in criminal court. Solving the mystery, that's yet to be seen.
I love you, Cookie.
It'll definitely be a search for the truth, but at the end of it, will we know exactly what happened? I don't know.
If you have any information about Hayden Manis or his disappearance, you can call the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. That's the number on your screen. The prosecutor told me at this point he is, in his words, leaning toward filing criminal charges in the case. But he's not saying what those charges would be, who they'd be filed against, or his time frame.
We know you'll stay on top of it and bring us any developments. Bob Siegel from 13 Investigates. Also want to let you know that 13 Investigates documentary, What Happened to Hayden, has now been watched more than 1 million times. If you'd like to see Bob's full investigation, you can stream it right now on demand over on WTHR Plus, WTHR.com, or on our YouTube channel.